Welcome. I will be discussing chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, the cause of the disease, the attributable risks, and public health programs that have been created to reduce the risk of developing COPD. The cause of the disease. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, is a progressive lung disease characterized by airflow limitation and breathing difficulties. It primarily results from long-term exposure to irritating gases or particulate matter that damage the lungs. COPD makes breathing difficult for the 16 million Americans who have this disease. Millions more people suffer from COPD but have not been diagnosed and are not being treated. Although there is no cure for COPD, it can be treated. The most common causes and risk factors for COPD include cigarette smoking. Cigarette smoking, this is the leading cause of COPD. The harmful chemicals in tobacco smoke can cause inflammation and narrowing of the airways, leading to lung damage over time. Environmental exposures. Prolonged exposure to indoor and outdoor air pollutants such as secondhand smoke, industrial dust, chemicals, and fumes can contribute to COPD. Occupational exposures in certain industries like mining, construction, and manufacturing are known risk factors. Genetics. Some individuals may have a genetic predisposition to COPD. Alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency is a rare genetic condition that can lead to COPD, particularly in non-smokers. Respiratory infections. Frequent or severe respiratory infections, especially during childhood, can contribute to lung damage and increase the risk of developing COPD later in life. Aging. The risk of COPD increases with age as the lung tissue naturally undergoes changes and becomes less elastic over time. Indoor air pollution. Exposure to indoor pollutants such as biomass fuels used for cooking and heating in poorly ventilated homes in some parts of the world can contribute to COPD. Population attributable risks. For COPD, several risk factors contribute to its development. Here are 5 major risk factors for COPD along with their estimated population attributable risk. Cigarette smoking. Smoking is the most significant risk factor for COPD. It is estimated that approximately 85 to 90% of all COPD cases are attributable to smoking. This means that if no one smoked, the incidence of COPD would be significantly lower. Occupational exposures. Occupational exposure to dust, chemicals, and fumes in certain industries can contribute to COPD. The population attributable risk for occupational exposures varies depending on the specific occupation and exposure levels, but can be significant in certain high-risk occupations. Occupational exposure to vapors, gases, dust, and fumes contributes to the development and progression of COPD, accounting for a population attributable fraction of 14%. Indoor air pollution in areas where biomass fuels like wood and crop residues are used for cooking and heating in poorly ventilated homes. Indoor air pollution is a significant risk factor. According to the World Health Organization, over 3.8 million people die prematurely every year from diseases attributable to household air pollution from using organic material as fuel for cooking. The population attributable risk for indoor air pollution is estimated to be around 10 to 15% in some regions. Outdoor air pollution. Long-term exposure to outdoor air pollutants such as fine particulate matter and toxic gases can increase the risk of COPD. The population attributable risk for outdoor air pollution varies by location and pollution levels, but can be substantial in areas with high pollution. The point estimates of particulate matter associated mortality in California range from 12,700 to 26,700, of which 53% were attributable to in-state anthropogenic emissions. Genetic factors. While less common, genetic factors like alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency can contribute to COPD risk. The population attributable risk for genetic factors is relatively low compared to smoking, but can be significant in individuals with specific genetic mutations. Public health programs. Public health programs around the world are addressing the risk factors associated with COPD to reduce its incidence and improve the lung health of populations. Here are 2 examples of such programs. Tobacco control programs. One of the most significant risk factors for COPD is cigarette smoking. Many countries have implemented comprehensive tobacco control programs to reduce smoking rates and exposure to tobacco-related harm. Indoor air quality improvement programs. In areas where indoor air pollution from the use of biomass fuels is a significant risk factor for COPD, public health programs aim to improve indoor air quality. Tobacco control programs. These programs typically include anti-smoking campaigns, Public health campaigns raise awareness about the health risks of smoking and the benefits of quitting. These campaigns use various media channels to reach a wide audience. Tobacco taxation. Increasing the price of tobacco products through taxation is an effective strategy to reduce smoking, especially among youth and lower income populations. Smoke-free laws. Legislation banning smoking in public places, workplaces, and indoor environments helps protect non-smokers from secondhand smoke exposure. Access to smoking cessation services. Providing access to smoking cessation programs, counseling, and medication helps smokers quit successfully. Indoor air quality improvement programs. These programs may include promoting clean cooking technologies. Initiatives promote the use of clean and efficient cooking technologies such as clean cook stoves and alternative fuels to reduce indoor air pollution from biomass burning. Ventilation and housing improvements. Programs may provide resources for improving household ventilation and housing conditions to reduce exposure to indoor pollutants. Behavior change communication. Public health campaigns educate communities about the health risks associated with indoor air pollution and encourage the adoption of cleaner cooking practices. These programs are part of a broader public health effort to prevent and manage respiratory diseases like COPD. They're implemented at the national, regional, and local levels and often involve collaboration between governments, non-governmental organizations, and international agencies. The goal is to reduce the impact of COPD by addressing its underlying risk factors and improving the overall respiratory health of communities. And this concludes the presentation.